Welcome everyone, I'm Fire. It's time to listen to Mom. In 2142, a Weyland-Yutani space probe investigates the wreckage of the USCSS Nostromo, which was destroyed 2 decades prior. The probe collects a large cocoon and departs for a secret research space station. Upon arrival, mass scientists open the cocoon, revealing the very first xenomorph. And with that brief entrance, we have been welcomed into Alien Romulus. I just recently got to go see it in the theaters, and this is going to be an honest review of the movie, how it fits into the series, which we just did a giant overview of the series and our favorites. If you want to check out that video, it'll be tagged below. This review will cover the positives, the negatives, the tie-ins, and will of course try to remain spoiler-free, so that you can go to the theater yourself or rent it at home and get the most enjoyment possible out of it. This movie was directed by Fede Alvarez, and a neat little point to note is Fede Alvarez actually went out and found as many of the original special effects crew as possible from the Alien series and have brought them back. So what you'll notice when you get to the theater and start watching this is the sets all look extremely similar to all of the styling from the original Alien and Aliens movies, and that is intentional. They even utilized as many micros as possible and the same style set building, so that way it felt as in-world as possible with the least amount of CGI to try to tie in the best practical effects, making it feel like a very grounded, real experience. The movie starts off with our main character, Rain, and her malfunctioning adoptive AI brother, Andy, hoping to leave the Jackson Star system and LV-410 for greener pastures, as LV-410 is permanently in the dark, full of storms, and most everyone who works there works inside of the mines. And in an attempt to try to avoid a life inside the mines, she teams up with a ragtag group to, of course, become the initiator of every problem in the plot forward. First, let's cover all the things that the movie did well. Like I mentioned before, the use of practical effects instead of all the CGI that we've been dealing with in the past means that the entire film feels a lot more gritty. It feels a lot more real, and it feels a lot more grounded. It's very reminiscent again of the original Alien series by using the same production crew, and the entire story feels very well grounded inside of its own world. It doesn't feel like that they decided to throw in just some random happenstance situation to try to tie everything together. It honestly feels like it was a well thought out and well-placed movie to have existed right now inside of the series. Each of the characters also, for the most part, feel like they exist inside of a living world, and there's a lot of desire to do the things that they're doing. Previously, in some of the Alien movies, a lot of the characters felt like a bit of a throwaway, but by keeping the cast small and keeping them tight, each of the characters do feel like that they have their own choice and reasons and why they do the things that ultimately can either save them or cost them inside of the movie. Each one also has their own unique drive of why they're trying to get off the planet, and you kind of want to root for each of the individual characters, even the ones that are significantly less hero material. While the movie anchors the idea in the unshaken rule of how xenomorphs work, it does actually still feature quite a few different scenes that are both shocking, surprising, but most of all, there is one scene in particular later on in the movie that is extremely unexpected and a bit groundbreaking for inside of the Xenomorph series, and I can't wait for you to get to see it. But with every review, you obviously need to cover the things that could have been done better. Again, with the return of the original styling and crew for the special effects, a lot looks very repetitive when it comes to the Alien series. The ship is going to look very similar. The world is going to look very similar. The xenomorph is of course the same xenomorph, and a lot of the tropes and how the characters are going to have to deal with them are going to be very, very repetitive if you've watched the entire series. Now, that doesn't always mean it's necessarily a negative, as it is always nice to know what to expect when you're dealing with a giant alien filled with acid blood and that is going to eat your face, but it is also one of the things that it may become a bit fatiguing for people who aren't completely invested in the world of Alien. Even while understanding that every new group that runs into the alien is running into the alien for the first time, as a viewer, we are experiencing this again for nearly the 100th time, where the unexpected humans wander into an alien existence, somehow trigger their infection, and then all hell breaks loose. For future titles, to hopefully avoid this a bit of fatigue on the idea, it may be worth going a little bit further in the future where the aliens are a bit more well known, or if the science officer is already familiar with them and so therefore can help prevent a lot of the initial interaction and deal with a greater, more evolved version of the alien. But as of right now, we've done this style engagement a few different times inside the movies, and so if you again aren't a massive fan of the Alien movies, the consistency in the way that these movies break down may become not as exciting for you. Overall, the movie had excellent pacing. It's just shy of 2 hours, and so it didn't feel like it was something that got drug out a really long time, but also it didn't feel like it was a brief movie either. It felt like there was plenty of time to go through and learn motivations, get attached to the characters, and of course become a little distraught by each different encounter at the fear of losing somebody else. And so overall, I'm going to give the movie 4 out of 5 face huggers. I think right now for me it sits right past Alien 1, right around the Alien 2 mark as far as feeling and of course excitement goes. It only falls a little short of Alien 2 only because, as previously mentioned, it is a bit fatiguing to have the same style engagement every time we first run into all of the xenomorphs, but overall also that a bit campiness is part of the reason why we like the Alien series, so I'm not upset by it, but it is one of the things I have to at least mention for those of you out there that maybe are only, you know, a 3 out of 5 Alien fan instead of a 4 out of 5 face huggers kind of fan. Hopefully, though, when you get to go see the movie, if you go see it in theaters, I think this is one, grab the popcorn, grab your soda, get a snack, and just sit back and relax. Grab yourself a good reclining chair if you've got one of those nearby, and overall, just have a great time. Bring the friend who screams it every time an alien jumps out, and you'll have a good laugh on the side as well. For those of you that don't get a chance to see it in theaters and you can see it at home, it will totally be worth it. Maybe binge the whole series. And like I said, if you want to see how me and my friend Daz view the Alien series and want to see what our favorites are and maybe the ones to avoid, don't forget to check out the video right here.